Hello YouTube, I am Lightly Salted and welcome to the channel. In today's episode in our continuing U-Boat tutorial series, I thought I'd do something a little different and give everyone a first-person tour of our ship. So why don't we go ahead and select Mr. Graph. We'll use the top right icon to move into first-person mode, hit leave position. And while our lazy bones captain gets himself out of bed, we'll begin our tour in the forward compartments of the ship. Here we are in the forward compartment of the ship, the forward torpedo bay, which is also an area for some of your crew to take rests. As you can see here, we have the ability to interact with things on the ship just as easily as we would have out in compartment mode. We have here the forward torpedo launchers. Now the icon on the screen lets us know that all 4 tubes are currently loaded with T1 torpedoes. I could simply select the icon here to take a look and confirm. We do indeed have our 4 T1s, and they are warmed. Now you'll notice here in the torpedo screen that the red torpedoes have red bars below them. These bars are an indication of how much warming time is left on the torpedoes themselves. So your mechanic, likely Mr. Watcher if you haven't changed any of the settings and started the game, will be warming up your torpedoes just about round the clock when not tasked with other duties. When the torpedo is first loaded, these bars will be completely filled and slowly dial back over time. Being able to take a look at this is important to note when you're in the midst of battle, and you need to know how much time you've got left to fire each of your torpedoes before they're cold again, and much more likely to dud. We'll go ahead and leave this view. Good afternoon, Mr. Luther, Mr. Koss. And a quick note on the captain, if you toggle the F key on your keyboard, you turn on his personal flashlight. In red lighting mode, this could definitely come in handy for taking a look around, or if we'd actually lost power to the compartments. We'll go ahead and leave his light on for now to make things a little easier to see. And as before, we can interact with anything with an icon, close the bulkhead, open the bulkhead. Good afternoon, Mr. Watcher. Evening, afternoon, I don't know what time of day it is because I can't see outside. Okay, heading aft, you have the officer's quarters, table at which to play cards to pass the time, the listening room. This is your hydrophone operator's station. Captain's bunk, ship's log. We can open that up and take a look. We are currently on this mission, and our standing order is to patrol Sector BD. Good luck. Thank you, HQ. Mr. Osterman is busy working the radio systems for us. Excellent, keep up the good work. And we'll head on into the command center of the ship. Now, just to our left, we will find a mirrored image of the ship's speed just here in dial form, letting us know that we are currently cruising at 4th gear. We can also see the movement of the rudder as our helmsman continues us on our journey. Here you have the depth steer station. This station is extremely important when underwater creeping up for attack. By having an engineering officer utilizing this station, it will prevent us from broaching the surface. Mr. Hagnow, our chief bosun, is busy at the navigator station. And here we have access to the valves. If I were to select this icon, it would give the boat the order to dive to periscope depth. While at periscope depth or lower, if we were to interact with this again, it would give the order to blow the tanks and bring the boats back to the surface. Here we have our observation periscope. Let's take a look. And we'll have to select manual mode here. All right. It is impossible to see anything. So just here to the left, you'll find your zoom magnifiers, you'll find your color changing lenses, and this next icon that sort of looks like a man in a diving suit is our view mode. This is the default view. We can select the next mode for a little tighter of a view, and then directly out to sea. And now by using WASD, I can use the observation scope to take a peek. It is definitely nighttime outside. We are traversing past land. This icon in the center top of your screen will zero your periscope. bring us directly to 0 degrees as compared to our heading. We can raise and lower our periscope by using the meter here on the left, and just tab escape to get back out. An additional tip when it comes to your periscopes, up here in the top left corners, you'll see that our captain is searching for targets, as the toggled icon is the collect information on all contacts icon. Now a little tip, if we want to ensure that nobody on the boat is going to inadvertently give away our position during an attack run, we can have the skipper hide the periscope. With the periscope selected as hidden, no personnel will be able to raise the telescope without selecting this icon first. Here we have the ladder up to the conning tower. We'll take a look at that in a moment. Oop, flashlight back on. We have here clocks and dials. Unfortunately, they're just for show. Here we have our gyro compass, which we can turn off to prevent battery drain and excess noise. Here we have our echo sounder. We can right-click here, and we can ping deep or ping shallow. If we were to ping shallow, it will ping the seabed to a maximum depth of 125 meters. So let's go ahead and give it a try. We currently have 16 meters of water below the keel. The deep selection is useful in deeper water to a maximum of 1,000 meters. Next to the echo sounder, we have our bilge pump. The bilge pump can be turned on or off at this station. It will also give you a visual indication of how much water you have in your sub. It will give you this in cubic meters. Now it's very important to note that your bilge pump will pump all compartments of your boat, but it is much more efficient at pumping out the control room. So in the event of flooding, it would be beneficial to have sailors collect water from those areas in pails and dump them here in the control room to evacuate the water more rapidly. Last note on the bilge pump, it becomes less and less effective the deeper and deeper underwater we take our sub. Just above the aft hatch, we have our light switch. And here we have general crew quarters. Again, tables for playing cards at, and some poor folk just trying to get some sleep. Sorry about that, Mr. Keller. Disclaimer, once I pass into the engine compartment, things are going to get quite loud. I'm going to have to raise my voice in the hopes that you can hear me, and I would recommend turning your audio down ever so slightly. Here we have a bit of a combination area. We have the general crew toilet. We have our storage room. And we can see here that Mr. Klaus Vogel is currently cooking us up a feast. With an appropriate officer in first-person mode, we could choose to do the cooking ourselves to raise morale. Above us you can see that we have an evacuation hatch. However, at this point in build 126, this has no function. Bananas! And just through the aft compartment to the right, we can see the ventilation controls. And we're about to pass between the engines. These guys are taking their jobs entirely too seriously. Just stop. Away. Alright, here we have the diesel engines, the workshop for turning scrap metal into spare parts, the diesel compressor, and the electric compressor. Both of these are used to recharge the compressed air required to blow the tanks to bring the ship back to the surface. Quick note, just above the diesel compressor, you'll find this strange looking piece of kit that does not have an active icon. This is the pill thrower. If our skipper had a few sonar decoys in his backpack, we would be able to interact with this little hatch to pop a sonar decoy out into the surrounding waters. And here we have the rear torpedo launcher. We'll head back to amidships and get up the ladder. Excuse me, fellas. Pardon me. How do you guys sleep in here? We'll climb up the ladder by left-clicking and using the W and D keys to go up and down. Here we have the internal structure of the conning tower. Again, you have quick representations of your current speed and depth. Here you have the TDC, which your skipper will use to calculate torpedo solutions. and the attack periscope. This periscope works exactly like the observation scope. So we're going to go ahead and change our view mode to something a little more visually appealing. Fantastic. Unfortunately, with the white lighting on, this is not really doing us justice. And we'll have Mr. Hag now leave his position and switch to red lighting for us. Light, please. Back to navigation with you. We'll reselect our skipper. Ah, yes. Much easier to see now. Excellent. Much like the UZO, we have the ability to zoom in and out by using the right mouse button. WASD to move. Quick note, there's a small glitch in the game where every now and again, the periscope will move with excruciating slowness even by holding the shift key. We can combat this by changing our view perspective a couple times, and then it should snap back to normal. We'll go ahead and move away from this station. Flick our flashlight on by hitting the F key again. And continue on our way up to the outer surface of our ship. Ah, what a beautiful night. Mr. Keller? Alright, as before, we have access to the targeting sight. We also have access to the searchlight. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Yowzers. That is bright. This game is just gorgeous. Quick note, I am playing this on the absolute lowest graphical settings in order to have my potato PC do some recording for me. So if you pick up this title, make sure you play on high. This game is just fantastic when it comes to the graphics. Okay, we have the ability to use the MGC-30 flak gun. Take a look at what that looks like at manual mode. And we have a basic crosshair, and by right-clicking, we can bring up a targeting sight. .30-round clip and takes a while to reload, so bear that in mind. We can change our ammo types using the comma and period keys. Armor piercing, HE. Thanks for that, skipper. We can climb down this ladder. And we'll head out to the bow. Honestly, this gives me anxiety. You'll see here a small bollard attached to the nose of the ship. By using an officer equipped with a diving suit, we could head on out here and interact with the bollard in order to dive to wrecks. Ah, sunrise. Come on, skipper, let's take a look at the deck gun. Alright. Manual mode. As before, we have a basic HUD, and by right-clicking, we will bring up this very minimalistic targeting sight. Really don't recommend using it. An important note, the more crew you give to your deck gun operator as helpers, the faster the reload process will be. Thanks for that, skipper. We'll head to the rear of the ship. And watch the sunrise. Use the skipper's binoculars by hitting the B key. And we can have ourselves a quick look around. Again, WASD. Hit B again. Put the binoculars away. Ah, U-96, you mighty beast. Climb up the ladder. And we'll descend back into the boat. Ugh, dark in here. Let's go ahead and turn the lights on. Fantastic. Ah, curses! I forgot two important pieces of kit. We have here our cabin cabinet. Empty except for the coffee. And the officer's toilet, which frankly looks dingier than the general use toilet. Alright folks, that has been your first-person view tour of our ship. I'll be going ahead and ending the video here. If there was anything I didn't touch upon, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Consider hitting the like button, and subscribe if you haven't already. I've been Lightly Salted. Thanks for tuning in. Bye now.